guys, so I'm back for another video. Last week I spoke about buying land in Ghana. This week I want to kind of continue with the same series. Yeah, I'm going to continue the same series. I can't promise that every single week I will be doing about building in Ghana, but what I'll do is I will number the videos so that if you're following for that reason, you can easily do so. You can find the videos quite easily. Okay, so this week I want to talk about what happens once you've got your land documents and everything is genuine. You pay for your land, the land is now yours. Okay, so what you should get after you've bought the land is something called an indenture. Now the indenture is literally just like a little document, a pamphlet kind of thing, and within that you will get something called a site plan. Now your site plan will basically just be the coordinates of exactly where your land is, so that anybody that wants to find your land can use those coordinates and find exactly where your land is. Okay, now from this moment what you need to do is you need to start putting together a team. But the first person you need on your team right now is an architect. Now I know that word architect is a bit scary, simply for the fact that when we hear of architects in the UK or the US or any other place, architect equals money. Yeah, in Ghana it is still expensive, but it's not outrageously expensive where you have to kind of think, oh my gosh, I can't complete my bills because I need to get an architect first. It's not like that. The price of an architect does also vary depending on what you're building, the size you're building, how much work you want the architect to do. So I'm not going to talk about prices today because it would be pointless. And also prices in Ghana change all the time. So I could say something today and by next week it's completely outdated. So I'm not going to talk about prices. Oh no, here comes the baby. I hope he's not coming in. Anyway, yes. So I'm not going to talk about prices. Right. So you need to get an architect. Now, what you need to get an architect for is the architect will do your design of what you want. So if you say that, okay, well, I want a 3-bedroom house with 3 bathrooms, all of them to be en suite. I want to have a kitchen. I want to have a walk-in closet. I want to have blah, 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 blah. The architect is there for that. So the architect will basically do the design of the building. So he can also do CAD drawings so that your drawing looks realistic on paper if that's what you want. They will also lay out the whole plan of the house for you. And what the architect needs to do once he's done that and you've agreed that yes, you're both happy with this, they need to go and get those drawings stamped. Now your stamp is not a permit. Your stamp just means that yes, an architect has drawn this for you here in Ghana, and your drawing must be done in Ghana. It can't be done outside and bring it to Ghana and say you're going to use that. It must be done in Ghana. It's got to be improved here. So once your architect does that, they will have to go to a place and get it stamped for you. Once you get yours stamped, that's one part of the journey done, but it doesn't end there. Okay, some architects can leave their job there because technically they are done. But you can also use an architect to help you go through the permit process. Now the permit process, some people don't like to go through the permit process because there's a lot of having to speak to people, and obviously if you've not been through it and you don't understand the ins and outs, where it can get a little bit frustrating. So if you've got an architect who doesn't mind going through the permit process for you, for me personally, I think it's worth paying them a little bit extra to kind of go through that, just to make your life easier. And another good thing about having your architect go through the permit process is that they will often have contacts who can maybe help you get your permit faster. Different places, it can range in time as to how long it takes you to get your permit. But obviously if you go there, especially as a foreigner, be prepared to dish out because that's just part of Ghana culture. You know what I mean by dish out, right? Dish out. Yeah, so if you have your permit person do it, it's just much easier. It kind of saves on a lot of headache and that kind of thing. Okay, so if you can do that. You cannot build without having your permit. That is why sometimes if you're driving around Ghana, you will see lots of buildings and you'll see marked in red there for you, stop work, produce permit, because the person has started building without a permit. Now your permit, I'm going to tell you what a permit is. You're supposed to have, what's supposed to happen when you get a permit. I'm going to tell you what actually happens when you get a permit. Okay, when you apply for a permit, the people in the assembly that you've gone to, depending on where your land is, they are supposed to come out and do a soil test. You're supposed to get fire brigade out, a whole load of rules and regulations that they're supposed to do in order for you to get your permit, and this is the requirement of the permit. Okay, so that's what you're supposed to do. There's a whole load of other stuff in there, but to be honest with you, I don't know all of it. There's a whole load of stuff. That's basically what you're paying for. Your permit is not just so, okay, yeah, I've got a permit so I can start work now. It's for you to meet a requirement, to have a requirement of certain standard tests. That's basically what your permit's for. What actually happens is that you go somewhere, say, boss, I want to get a permit to build. They'll give you the price, you pay it. Depending on what you've paid, sometimes that affects how long your permit process can take. Depends. Once you get your permit, you can start work. That's Ghana for you. Okay, so a lot of the time in Ghana you get what you pay for. Okay, so that's kind of what happens. But as I say, all the other tests are supposed to happen. Yeah. So anyway, your architects can take you through that process and get that permit for you. Some assemblies, while you're going through the application process, because it can take sometimes 3 months, it depends, weeks up to months. Some places will allow you to start work while you're still going through the application process. They'll give you some sort of certificate or something like that to say that yes, you can start your work. But obviously, even with things like that, you can still get problems until you actually have your permit. So it's up to you to decide whether you want to wait and make sure you've got your full permit and you're ready to go, or you can perhaps get the certificate, and if you're happy with that, you can continue. Some builders will not want to start work if you don't have your permit, because it just causes a lot of headache for them. We've had it in the past before where if you start building and you don't have your completed certificate, or if you've gone a backstreet way to do it, which is building without the certificate, or if you decide to build and try and take the chance, sometimes what will happen is if the AMA, they're the body that controls these kind of things, if the AMA finds out, what they will tend to do is they will seize all the equipment from the builders, and so it's a lot of headache, and the builders can end up losing out because they'll take their wheelbarrows, their shovels, anything that they have, they'll just take it away until you go and you see them and sort it out, and then you have to usually pay to get that stuff back. So some builders don't want to touch buildings where you don't have your permit ready to go. So just beware of that. So if you get a really good architect, he can really make the process a lot easier for you, a lot smoother for you. So in my recommendation, I would say that it's worth definitely getting yourself an architect to go through the process. It just makes it easier for you. Okay. I think that's it. I was going to do a whole lot more of the other tradesmen that you need, but I think it will make the video too long, so I'm not going to do that today. But anyway, yeah, I hope you kind of muddled through what I've sort of said, and you kind of got a bit of an understanding of what I'm trying to say anyway. If you have any comments, questions, let me know in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And that's it. Until next time, guys.